All right, Rob, tonight, the Green Bay Packers and the Cincinnati Bengals are about to mix it up in the first preseason game. And obviously preseason is preseason. You don't want to, it's not too exciting. But Jordan Love is making his start for the Packers and going to play a series or two. And Rob G, the Packers are saying they are excited about this young man. They had, of course, the joint practices with the Bengals, and the running backs, Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, came away raving about Jordan Love. A.J. Dillon said this: everyone was locked into what the quarterback had to say. And when guys are respecting and really want to play for somebody like, all right, this is what we're doing, QB1, let's ball. It's definitely a new era here. I think he's going to have a hell of a career. I'm excited to be a part of the first team to have a go at it with him. And, of course, I said Aaron Jones also sang his praises. Here's what he said, Rob. He's a different guy. The playbook wasn't all the way opened up to him. Now I feel like it is. It was very vanilla, very plain, getting blitzed all out almost every day. I think he's a completely different player. He's saying Love now versus Love back, when you saw him at the beginning of his career. And Rob, even a few Bengals players, gave him some props. So what do you make of this?
It is talk that I've never heard anybody say ever in the, I don't know how many years I've been covering the NFL, since 1987. Oh, this kid is terrible. He won't have a good career. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know how he's on the team. I don't know why they drafted him. I'm still waiting for those quotes because I've never seen them. And just like every college coach, Chris, when they have the signing, when they sign the players, oh, yeah, we filled all our needs. Unbelievable. We got all these great. That's all they say. I get it. What else can you say? You got to give the guy praise, give him an opportunity to get out there and see what he can do. If the truth be told, if the Packers were all in and realized all that, why'd they give him a 1-year contract and not give him and not lock the guy up? Because they don't know. That's why he got a 1-year extension, Chris, and not a new contract. He's been there for 4 years.
Well, you're right. You're right about everything you said. Obviously, they're not going to be like, we in trouble.
Exactly. You are never going to hear that.
Was still here.
Right.
You're right. You're absolutely right about that. But you said they don't know, which obviously they don't know. I mean, even if he was lights out in practice, you don't know how he's going to respond when the lights are on. But I want to ask you this. There's a difference between they don't know and they do know, and it ain't good. Do you feel it's the latter? Because I'm fine with they don't know. They can't know. But do you think it's actually the latter, like, they know, or at least they have a strong feeling that this isn't the guy?
I believe that they know only from the standpoint of their actions with the contract. If this is your guy long-term, Chris, you don't play around with the quarterback position. Lock him up. He's going to be the guy. This is what, and you know this, Chris, you wow people in practice in the NFL because you practice way more than you play. So people watch you. That's why people knew Tim Tebow couldn't play. They watched him. Guys used to go to practice. I mean, not people attached to the team, but other people, and say, he can't throw a 15-yard pass consistently. Chris, we heard this out of practice, like he's a terrible practice player, and he can't play. And I'm saying, if they knew they had something, this is not to say that Jordan Love's not going to be a good quarterback in the league, Chris. I don't know. You would have traded Aaron Rodgers 2 years ago when all that was on the table for them to have. You traded up for him, right? You gave up something to get him. He didn't fall in your lap. You went to go get him. If you were watching this guy in practice and you knew you had something, even when they traded Brett Favre, remember, Brett Favre played like 3 or 4 more years, Chris, and he went to the NFC Championship game with the Vikings. They knew he could still play, but they still decided that they were going to move on from Brett Favre because they knew what they had in Aaron Rodgers. They did.
Well, I'll say this, and like you said, neither one of us are Jordan Love experts. To be honest, nobody could be except the Packers. And even they don't know what he's going to do when it's game time. They've seen him in practice. What I will say is this, Rob, because I kind of felt like you felt, for a little while, and I'm only going off one performance, and I know that, that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to translate, and he's going to be very good. But I would say this, the one time I saw him last year get some decent playing time was against Philadelphia, a good team. And he played most of the second half, if I remember correctly. 6 for 9, 113 yards, a touchdown and no interceptions. And it wasn't, the stats are good, obviously, but it wasn't just that. He looked different. His second year when he got some playing time, he looked, iffy, not comfortable, not confident. Body language just wasn't, that secure. And when I saw him against Philadelphia, he looked like he had command of that offense. He looked like he believed in himself. So I thought that was good. And I do think a guy can improve and get better. And so I think, look, I don't think the Packers going to have a great year. I think there are a few teams in that division that are better than them. I like Detroit better. Atlanta might be. Chicago, if Justin Fields plays well, they could be better. But I do think Jordan Love will play okay, fairly well. Like, I think he probably, and again, without seeing him a ton, I think he's probably a starter in this league. I mean, like, for a while, I don't know if he'll be, the one for the Packers or if he'll be great. I'm not saying that. But I think he's got the tools to be a starter just from the little bit I've seen. And I think, Rob, I don't see how they could give him a long-term deal. Just because even if, again, you see him in practice, but you haven't seen him in the game. And so you don't know how good he is. And I think 2 years ago, they still felt like they could win the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. I think now after those 13-3 seasons where they kept falling short, I think they felt like, you know what? We've maxed out with Aaron. So let's see what Jordan's got. So I don't think that's a sign, but we'll see. He started off the game 2 completions, then missed a long pass. Rob G thought it looked like it was almost an interception. I didn't think it was a badly.
And then he missed an open receiver,
but I didn't think it was
down.
like a terrible pass or possible interception. The guy just knocked it away.